All right, so talking about restarting today or starting over or trying to overcome how you feel about maybe decisions you made in the past that you think are impacting your today in a very negative way. Um, a lot of times you hear people when they aren't quite happy where they are in life, or maybe they see somebody, some event, some uh, product, something that they had a chance to be a part of, you know, back in the day or a while ago. Or maybe you've just made some choices or done some things in your life where you started to see that as where your life took a downfall or started to go downhill. And a lot of times, the biggest wish is that people say, I just wish I could start over, or I wish I could go back to when I was 22 and do things differently, or, you know, man, my life would be so much better if I could just go back and redo this, or and I've talked a lot in the videos before about the fact is we all make the best choices we can at the point in our life when we make them. So even if you went back in time, knowing 2020 hindsight about where some of these choices took you, if you went back in time to that same place, that same knowledge, and that same situation, you would make the same choice. So you can't really go back and say, "Oh, I would have done things differently," because you wouldn't have. Um, the problem that, and it's a social pressure issue more than anything. People expect you to be at a certain point in your life or have certain things. When you're 40, you should have a nice car. When you're 50, you should be close to retirement. When you're 30, you should have kids and a house. That's kind of the social pressure side of it. And some of us are really susceptible to that. Some of us were raised in ways that it doesn't really affect us as much. Um, the thing is, when we talk about going back and starting over, it's kind of the same thing as making those choices at that time. You wouldn't have made anything different at that time, and so you're really kind of condemning not only your current self for where you are, but you're also condemning your younger self for choices you made. You're taking guilt and blame for something you really can't take guilt and blame for. Um, you would have made those same choices. You would be exactly where you are right now, given what you know now, is when you think you would change it. And that's not the case. So when we talk about starting over, oh, I wish I could go back to 22 and start over. I wish I could go back to, that one party, that one thing I said, that one thing I did, and not do that so it wouldn't lead into this situation in my life, this downfall, this problem. And the thing is, not only does that mean we're living in our past and condemning our present over it, but we're also saying that we're not worthy in our life right now of being where we are right now. Either we think the life is not good enough for us, or we're thinking, yeah, with all the stupid choices I make, I'm surprised I've even gotten this far. Um, but the way to think of this is that start line, that start over point. Um, we have so many start lines in our life. It's the first start line is when you're born. Maybe later on that start line changes to when you're 10. You become 10 years old. Now you have a 2-digit age. Maybe that next start line is when you were 15 or 16 and you could drive a car and you had your first job, something like that. Maybe the next start line is when you're all of a sudden you're 21 and you can go out to bars, and that's a whole new life for you. Or maybe the next start line is graduating college, and your life should have just started from there. So the thing is, you think about, there's so many start lines in your life, and they change constantly. And depending on what you're thinking about at the moment, you go back to a certain start line. That's why a lot of people go, man, I wish I could back to when I was 25 and just start over because, this or that, or I've made choices or this or that. Um, And some people get to 40 years old or 50 years old, and they start off, there's a new start line there because they feel like, oh, I'm middle age, a midlife crisis, whatever comes out of that is the fact you see your life as it is now and what you think it should be, and you find that disconnect. And so you're like, oh, I need the fast car. I don't have kids anymore at home. I got a good job, so I'm going to go buy the fast car. I'm going to divorce my wife at 30 years and find somebody half my age, because that's the time I wish I was at. A lot of our problems in life go back to thinking about times when we really observed that life as being better, or the pinnacle, or everything's gone downhill since then, or nothing's become important since then. And it's one of those things that also makes your life go by way too quick. A lot of people remember turning 21, but they don't really have a whole lot of stuff that happens between 21 and 28 that they remember, unless it's like a wedding, a marriage, a kid, or some sort of traumatic event. But if life's just kind of normal at 21 to 28, a lot of people kind of lose track of that because it's just kind of the same thing. Then you kind of hit 30 and you're like, whoa, I'm 30, I should do something. So anyway, look at what you think is our start points in your life if you're feeling this way, and find out, like, why do you want to be 25 again? A lot of people, when they graduate high school, or even when they're in 30s, 40s, if you asked them, hey, how would you like to go back to like 8th grade and repeat all that? And most people are like, oh, I would never go back to school. That was horrible. Being teased. So, you don't want those start points always. And sometimes we romanticize them a great deal too. It'd be nice to be younger and make different choices, but you'd still make the same choices, so you'd still be at the same spot. So you're just really, really living it over again. But what you can change, what can be done differently, is you can set start points constantly. At the beginning of the week, maybe you had a really tough week last week, or a bad week last week, or you're supposed to be dieting or exercising and you didn't do it. Well, when Sunday comes around, that's your new start point. Start working on it from that point forward. Don't go back in time. Don't condemn yourself. Don't talk about how bad last week was. Just work from here forward. That's your new start line. And sometimes it doesn't have to be even that far away. Maybe you woke up this morning and you were late getting out of bed and you didn't eat right. And so let's say you're trying to eat healthy, you're trying to exercise every morning before work, something like that. And you couldn't do it this morning. So your new start point maybe is when lunchtime rolls around, to make sure you eat healthy on your lunch. Maybe go for a walk instead of sitting around. Maybe put your phone in your pocket and take a 15-minute break walking instead of playing on your phone or sitting in the break room or chatting with people. That's your new start point, the middle of that day. And sometimes it's not even that far away. Like 5 minutes ago, I was supposed to make this payment, do that thing with my friend. I was supposed to eat a good lunch, and I just ate donuts. Something like that. New start point is now. Like, okay, from now on, the rest of the day, I'm gonna make that phone call. I'm gonna eat right. So you really just need to realize these start points you want to go back to. You set them. You choose them. But the thing is, it's something you can't go back in time and change. You can only decide what the start point of where you are right now and what you want to do differently is. 6 months ago, maybe you decided to really change your life. You started going to school again, you started eating right, you started working out. That's a start point, and you're in that middle of that journey. But every one of those days, the start point is that morning of getting up and going to the gym, going to walk, going to work out, going to run, going to kayak, whatever you want to do, wherever your goals are. And it doesn't always have to be physical either. It can be mental. Like I'm going to read 22 books this year, and so January 1st, you set that goal. And that's a start point. It gets to be November and you've read 10. You got some reading to do by the end of the year if you want to accomplish that goal. But the start point, the original goal is the beginning of the year, but the start point of finishing those last 12 books is today. So don't regret the past. Don't condemn yourself for what you haven't done right. Set your start point of right now of what you want to change in your life. And maybe you're already in the midst of a bigger change. Maybe it is the eating healthy, maybe it is the working out, and maybe it is the reading books. And reading books started at the beginning of the year, eating healthy started 6 months ago, working out 5 times a week started a month ago. Okay, they're all different start points, but they all matter. And the fact is, every one of them boils down to what you're doing at this moment. What are you doing to get to those goals, those accomplishments from right now on? And when you wake up tomorrow, tomorrow morning, it'll be right from that point on. So don't go back in time. Don't condemn yourself. You're doing the best you can. And if you don't like where you're doing, if you are letting yourself down, or you feel that way, you can't go back and change anything. All you can do is start now. Get that fire in your belly. Get that focus in your head. If it's an eating healthy thing, and you go around your house and you're like, oh, I have cookies and donuts and bacon, and not that any of those are necessarily bad, but if that's stuff you agreed to keep out of your diet and all of a sudden you've bought more and it's in your house, man, go donate it. Go give it to a friend. Give it to one of your kids if you have kids. Give it to your neighbor. Who knows what. If it's a half-eaten bag of cookies and nobody wants them, dump them in the trash. Get them out of your existence. That's your starting point for now. So think about what's important in your life and where you want to go. Don't look at your life where you are today and go, this is it. This is the end of the line. No, today is a new start point. This moment is a new start point. And keep working on it. And don't condemn yourself. Even the decisions you make today, if for some reason you have a hard time following through on them completely or totally or even at all, tomorrow morning, don't condemn yourself for today. Start tomorrow with a new start point and keep moving forward. Because when you look at it with that positive idea, with that decision to do something better, you want to go do it. You're excited. If you look at about what you've already screwed up, it kills your energy. You're not going to do it anyway. Anyway, hopefully that helps everybody. I think we all have something like that where we look back and we go, I wish I had done that differently. But you can't go back and go, man, I wish I could go back and do that because my life is not good right now because of it. You can't do that because there's no way to go change the past. So start from now. Figure out where you want to go. Maybe look at what's held you back a little bit and find out what you can eliminate in your life that's causing you to not get where you want to, and start habits that do get you towards where you want to. But start now. This is your start line right now. Anyway, you guys have a great week. I'll do more short form videos again this week, but I wanted to get some of this longer, more important stuff out of the way. See how it to go on. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Labor Day weekend, and we'll talk tomorrow.